Alrighty, guys, welcome back to it. Conservative Confucius here, back at it again. We got some TikToks for you. We haven't done that in a while, so I thought I'd do that. Reaction to woke and insane TikToks from the left. So let's get down to it and do it. All right, guys, don't forget to go down there, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, make sure you ring that bell for notifications so you get all my stuff. And don't forget to share this video if you guys like it. Alrighty, let's get down to it and do it. And here we go.
I am a woman. I am a real biological transgender woman. I was born this way. I will hold my space, and I will fight for the rights of transgender children.
You're a pedophile. There's nothing more, nothing less.
Love yourself. Be yourself. Be kind to yourself. Love.
Your body.
So yeah, that's just, it's ridiculous. Sorry about the different player I'm using. I created this, so it's like a bunch of TikToks I took and put in this video. But yeah, so ridiculous. This is insane. Your job isn't to protect other people's children and what they believe in. Your job is to be a good human being. And when you're being a good human being, one of the things that I would say is part of that is not pushing an ideology on children that is inherently damaging. And you say, oh, how is it damaging? Well, if you have to harm yourself, whether you believe it's a justful harm or not, you are inherently hurting people around you. You are no longer a good person. If you have to push an ideology that just the being part of it means mutilating your body for whatever benefits you see, that is not a good ideology to push on children. I believe that is not only grooming, it is something that is beyond that. It's just straight up evil. So this is from a pro-life group right here.
Kind to yourself. Love.
Your body is just saying another human body. So we're talking actually about two bodies when we're talking about pregnant women.
Well, because also it's not everyone that gets pregnant is women.
Yes, they are. You have to have a uterus and you need to have a vagina.
Duh.
You are biologically female. That's not the same thing as being a woman, but I already know your views on that.
You have a uterus and you have XX chromosomes.
You are a woman.
You are a woman.
I have a uterus,
really?
I have those chromosomes, and I'm not a woman.
You are.
I am biologically female.
Okay,
but I'm
so
not a woman.
When for an example, we've always separated sports by sex. You say, oh, this is women's sports, this is men's sports, but they've always been separated by sex, and that is clear. Male and female, man and woman are both terms used for sex. That's why on not just some documents will say, what are you, a man or a woman? Some will say male or female, but it's all under the category of sex. That's it. There is no in between. Even if you're a hermaphrodite, you still have either XX or XY chromosomes. And if you have, one of the rare ones where you're XXY, then you're still falling into one of the categories. You present or see or function mainly as one of the two. For example, hermaphrodites can't actually reproduce with themselves. It's physically impossible. There is no one that has both a working penis and a working vagina that are fully functional. It's physically impossible, and it's never been documented. There are people who have really weird deformities that may seem like, they have part of a vagina, or inside of them they have like a uterus, but they have a male genitalia, but they don't actually have anything functioning on either properly. There's many things like that, but you can't sit there and split man and woman, the words, apart from being male and female. That's what literally the word man means, a male. The word woman means a female human being. The word man means a male human being. That's it. It doesn't have anything to do with the 1960s, late 1950s, early 1960s, and on version of what people view gender as. That was a term that was made up in the 1960s, and technically it was a term appropriated in the 1960s. Gender comes from words, so words have gender, people don't. It's insanely stupid.
A non-binary person looking like this, you can look at me looking like this.
It's just
A
interesting
clown? Looking like a clown?
That's what I
don't
thought.
even. This is not a debate about who is really trans and who is not.
It can be.
We're talking about restrooms.
Then you shouldn't be in them looking like that. If you say you're not trans, which means you're not a female, you should not be entering the female bathroom, not only looking like that with a beard and your weird stupid makeup and your hair and your bald shaved head. It doesn't matter. Like, there are almost everywhere you go today, you can either have a private bathroom, completely private, or you can go to a family bathroom. If you're at a mall, family bathroom. If you're at a movie theater, there's a family bathroom. If you're at a restaurant, there is male and female. Most of the time nowadays, there's just individual bathrooms, like one, just one, lock the door, boom, you're only one in there. So you should be going into the male one in that choice. Even if you don't agree with it, go to the male one. If you're the only one in there, then there's not going to be anybody who's going to harass you. But if you go into the female one, you're taking up a spot that a female needs, and she can't go into the male one because not only does she not have a wiener, but it's just not for her and it's not appropriate. While you, a person who's kind of weaving in and out of different categories, you have the right to go in there because not only are you a male, but it's not going to hurt you like it would hurt an actual woman.
You're so offensive. You're an offensive
Okay.
person, human being.
Okay.
It's
Well,
pathetic.
I find a lot of things over here offensive as well.
Oh, wow.
This is that the one who's being attacked right now is not this person, but not the one with the brown hair that's been going like this with their hair. That's Blair White, the conservative trans person. I don't agree with everything she does. Obviously, I don't believe that the way Blair does it doesn't promote it for kids, doesn't promote it for anyone, says it's a very dangerous thing, over expensive, and you should make sure that you're this before you do it. You should spend years figuring out your identity before you figure out this is actually what you want to do, because there's no going back. And I agree with that sentimentality. I don't agree with doing it, but I agree with the sentimentality they push. And they are constantly attacked everywhere. In a moment, one of them says you're not grassroots. Okay, trans isn't grassroots. Trans is literally the definition of astroturf. These people preach love and acceptance and intolerance, except for they're the most hateful, bigoted, angry people I've ever seen in my life. They always talk about trans joy and happiness, literally because all of you are angry, bigoted people who scream at everyone. Like if you go to a protest and there's trans people there, they're the most violent, angry ones. So what are you talking about? You transition to help yourself mentally? Because the only thing I see is you're now abusing people and using your trans identity as a privilege to no longer get criticism from people, or at least less criticism. There's finally people that are standing up to you, and now you think that's hatred. You think that's genocide. Well, just because we're no longer in 2020 where people will say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything because you're trans." Now people are like, "No, screw you. I'm done with this. I will no longer be silent." And you view their silence, or sorry, you view their opposition to you as violence. That's not how it works. You don't just get everyone to be silent while you preach your ridiculous bullshit that's delusional, while everyone else has to just accept it and move on with their life. No, that's not how it works. Everyone gets their ideas pushed back on. You're allowed to push back on Blair, just like Blair's allowed to push back on you, and I'm allowed to push back on both of you.
Yeah, you're disgusting.
And I have to. Trust me, the feeling is more than mutual.
Keep
I
it
am
cute.
I am cute.
Yeah, keep it cute, girl.
I stay cute. I don't have to.
The only one who looks like a woman out of these entire group is Blair. And I don't think that, Blair would always be upfront about their identity. Let's just say that Blair was a different person. They were on the left, let's say that they believed different things. Blair, if they were on the left and they believed all the things that these other people believe, they would not tell you they're trans. So you wouldn't be able to know for someone like Blair, who's very feminine looking, has actual really feminine hips and body. So it's like you would never guess. So how is that fair to the men who are in that situation who wouldn't know until too late? And that's what these people believe in. Some of these people believe, not this person next to Blair, who's not very feminine looking, but still more than the others. They actually are on most of the sides stuff with this Blair. They talk about detransitioners and stuff like that. But it's ridiculous that they think it's okay to just not tell someone. Like, what? I'm sorry. How is that okay? Like,
cute, I remain cute.
Have you ever worked directly with trans people? Have you ever worked directly?
I am right now.
No,
We're
directly
surrounded by
in
them.
service.
She's not
That's my
grassroots.
entire
She
career.
is not a grassroots.
You're
nurse.
not.
I really want to see what you've done for those organizations because I don't see any of y'all on the front line.
It's disappointing that you would disrespect all of the people that are in.
it's just the
community service
oppression
that actually
Olympics. Like,
help trans.
how much virtue signaling have you done? I haven't seen you out there on the streets doing work for those people. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, you're not judge, juror, and arbiter of my life. This is how I do my thing. This is how you do your thing, and we move on. This is not, they don't allow that. They don't allow people to be like, I'm different, move on. And they say that's what they want. They want the right to be different and no one bother them. And the thing is you bother everyone else. If you just wanted to live your life and be who you are, I would be like, go ahead. Private life is private life, and that's fine with everybody. That's fine with me. When gay people were doing that for the last 20 years, I had no issue. And I was actually firmly what you would call ally when I was on the left. And then the more I started becoming more right wing, I realized what's going on with the gay community, like the LGBT community. It's no longer just like private life is private life and whatever. It's now like, accept my kinks in public or you're a bigot, or, if you don't call me trans, then you're a bigot. I have trans friends from years ago. I don't really talk to them anymore, mainly just because we grew apart, not because of anything, no animosity or anything. But I knew this trans person, and they go by Benny. Well, they did go by Benny. Now they have like a different name, but they still allow me, if I talked to them like a year ago to talk about all this crazy trans shit. And they were like, so if I called you Benny, would you get mad? And they're like, no, you knew me as Benny for like 15 years. Why would you not call me Benny now? It's weird if I had to do that. Like, and I was just like, yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I do. I'm adopted. I changed my name to my birth name. Before I was adopted, my birth name. I changed my name to that name, but I still allow people to call me by my adopted name because that's what they know me as. I actually put my adopted first name. I put that in my birth name. I put it as a second part of my middle name. So instead of just Ezekiel, it's Ezekiel Chris. So now people can still call me that without being like, oh, I don't know if it's just weird calling you Toviah. It just seems off. Like, I've known you as this person for this long, and it just seems weird. So I understand that, but they can't. It's like they can't, like Benny does, but other people can't. They can't grasp, okay, why should I expect the entire world to instantly switch their mindset and just automatically get used to something that they haven't been used to for the last 10 years or however many years they've known you, or even if they just met you. If they don't know you or have known you for a long time, it's going to be hard for anybody to get used to these things. And they expect people to automatically adjust. Like that's it. Boom, done. No time for, no time for adjustment. And that has led to people saying, well, I don't care at all. I'm not going to adjust at all because you didn't allow us the time to adjust in the beginning. And I agree with that. Because they didn't allow us this time to kind of get used to this crap, why should we even try anymore? I don't care if you're a trans person and you are disrespectful or push an ideology I disagree with, you're automatically still a he to me. But Blair, I will call Blair a she because I respect them. They don't push ideologies I disagree with. They don't talk to kids in weird, disgusting ways, and they don't force me to call them a she. They would be like, okay, fine. You think I'm a he? I am a he technically, but if you want to call me she, that's great too. So I say, okay, all right, she. I don't care. But the disrespectful, delusional assholes who force it upon us are no better than anyone else trying to force an ideology on you. It's stupid.
And it's really disappointing that you guys are disrespectful.
What you identify as?
Identify?
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity?
I identify as an American.
Ethnicity. Can I see how you identify ethnicity? That's not a word. It's ethnically. How do you identify ethnically? Ethnically, not ethnicity. That's not a word. And it just shows you, even these race-baiting lunatics are so dumb, they don't even know the word ethnically.
Not an African American?
No, an American.
Yeah, I had to work on my own merits and pretty much promote the principles that I believe in, which is freedom, equality for all, which I believe that America does. And that's how I got elected into my position. I didn't get elected into my position because of the color of my skin or do any race baiting stuff that it seems like you're promoting here.
Can men get pregnant?
No, of course
Mr. Chairman? Yes.
Define what a woman is.
Mr.
A
Chairman,
human female.
there are people who identify as different genders who are capable of getting pregnant. That is my position on this. I am not going to feed more into the bigotry of that question.
Right here. The bigotry of the question. I'm sorry, I didn't know a question could be bigoted unless it was outright racist or something. Like, why do black people like watermelon? That's a racist question or something. Like, or why do Jews do this, or why do this do that? Those are questions that have bigotry within them. But saying what is a woman is not a bigoted question. And saying can people who aren't women get pregnant? That's not a bigoted question. That's a scientific question. And scientific questions are not bigoted unless the person saying the scientific question is using the question to push some type of belief. And they're not. They're saying this is science. Can you answer this scientifically? Can you say, okay, this is a woman. Can women or non-women give birth? No, of course, non-women, people who aren't women cannot give birth. Okay, well then what is a woman? A woman is a human female. instead of saying all of this gobbledygook garbage that doesn't make sense, just answer the question. But they don't want to, because they know answering it their way makes them look stupid, but answering it our way proves them wrong. So they're stuck in this middle ground where they have to say, oh no, I'm not going to answer this because it's inappropriate or it's bigoted or it's transphobic. So they can't answer it because it makes them look stupid, and they can't, and they also can't answer it because it makes them, if they answer it correctly, it'll prove out all their bullshit wrong.
The pelvis. It's the only bone in the body that's gender specific.
Cutest girl.
Which means it's
Cutest.
different in boys and girls.
Is it?
Yes. The pelvis's job to protect the organs used for digesting and reproduction. Which means growing babies.
Adorable. Adorable. Seriously adorable.
Kids, there's
Not
no
adorable.
such thing
Monster.
as a boy or a girl.
This is Buffalo Bill. Look at the robe. I mean, oh my God. Look at the robe. I mean, here, hold on, guys. This is insane. Let's see. Buffalo Bill. The robe and everything, dude. Yep. Oh my God. It's the same almost. Oh my God. Super creepy. Is that not the exact same thing? Like, look at that. That's the same thing. Holy shit, that's terrifying. Same robe that guy is wearing, basically. I've always wondered if he's trying to put off Buffalo Bill vibes, because he definitely is.
Girl. And I can prove it. So gather around the family, the parents, everybody, answer my questions. Okay, that is me from a few months ago, and I wanted to resurface this video because I stand by my statement, and I do think this should be taught to young people. I got so much SHIT for that video.
Because you're a pedophile.
And I don't know why people were coming after me and not examining.
Because you're a pedophile.
What we do currently teach young people that gender is real and girls are less than. Gender is real and girls are not as smart. Gender
No
is
one
real
ever
and
says
boys
any of this.
Shouldn't have feelings.
No one ever said any of this. No school has ever taught that girls are less than or boys shouldn't have feelings, ever. No one has ever taught that. And the fact is that you may say that it did happen 50, 60 years ago, and some families may have taught that. That still doesn't change the fact that it's never been taught in school. And today, it's definitely not taught in any family, except for an occasional random one out of 1,000 families teaching something wrong. But the fact that you're pushing this is the same as them pushing that. So you're saying that this shouldn't be, you shouldn't teach boys not to have feelings, or teach girls that they're less than. Okay, well, you shouldn't teach boys that there's no such thing as sex and that anybody can identify however they want and it's valid. That's the same thing. It's all in the same category of bullshit that should not be taught to kids. And you're somehow thinking that your belief system is better than those, even though they're all wrong.
Or whatever, you should teach that gender is constructed. We should
No,
teach young
you shouldn't,
people
because it
that
was
gender
made by a
is
pedophile.
series of
Gender as a social construct comes from John Money and Alfred Kinsey, who were both pedophiles who raped young boys, and some of them even killed themselves. John Money's pride experiment, which he literally mutilated a young boy after a botched circumcision and told the parents that they had to raise him as a girl because it was the only way. And they said, well, can we? Do you think that would work? And they said, yeah. He said, yes, it'll work, because gender is a social construct. It's not actually a real thing. It's not like sex. And people were like, I don't know if that's true. And the boy knew the whole time. He felt something was off. And by the time he was 13, his parents finally came out and said, you were a boy when you were born. He said, okay, well, I'm a boy now then. That means I want to identify as a boy. Luckily, he didn't have the secondary surgeries after all that. And sadly, the trauma from all the therapy sessions with John Money led him and his brother to kill themselves, one 6 months before the other. His brother killed himself, and then this is the one who didn't get the botched circumcision and all that and raised as a girl. The one who was straight and raised as a straight young boy was sexually abused just as bad as the brother. And they abused each other. They were forced to do sex with each other. And he killed himself, or ended himself. Sorry for YouTube guidelines, whatever. He ended himself. And the brother went on YouTube to talk about how John Money was a monster and what had happened to him. And then about 5 or 6 months later, after the Oprah thing, the brother did this. He ended himself as well and wrote us an ending note or whatever, because I can't say the sua whatever word, the ending note saying, you know, he blamed you on money and the treatment and the grape and all these SA and all that stuff. So you can tell this ideology is built off of pedophiles and grapists who sexually abuse children. Alfred Kinsey sexually abused children as young as 8 and 10 months old, trying to give them pleasure and see how many orgasms they could have within a certain amount of time. One of them was a 4-year-old boy who he did it for 24 hours straight to. You can look it up. It's called, type in Alfred Kinsey on Google, Alfred Kinsey, table 34, and you will be truly shocked.
Decisions that a society makes. That is just one reason to do it. Another reason to do it is all the LGBTQ kids who need to hear it's okay to be themselves.
Today wasn't supposed to be a crying day. Why do I always feel like crying? Why do I always feel like crying? Don't do it.
So pathetically fake.
No!
So pathetically fake. So you say, why do I get crying? Why do I get crying? And then one tear drops and you're like, okay, I'm good. Are you kidding? You make fun of women. You act like they're these, you know, these, all women are these emotionally inept losers who cry and purchase too much stuff online. And that's all they are. You're a caricature of the worst of women. And then you make a video about why you think you're always crying, but you're not crying yet. You have one tear come out during the video, and then that's the video. And somehow that's another video of you. No one gets on the camera and says, I've been crying all day. And then one tear drops. Oh, okay, that's better. Are you kidding me? Pathetic trolls. That's all these losers are.
Feel a little better.
See?
What is
loser?
Non-binary?
This person is not even, like, they identify as everything, basically non-binary. It's this bullshit. And they're like, oh, well, that's a long question. What is non-binary? Well, non-binary, it's a big question. No, it can't be a big question. What is it? It's either this or that. You can't be something that doesn't have a definition.
Mean?
Well, to me, being non-binary.
To me,
it's already
like, you can't say, what is a woman? And you're like, well, to me, a woman is, no, what is a woman? I'm not asking you what a woman is. I'm saying, what is a woman? And when he was questioned about this by Matt Walsh on Dr. Phil, it says, well, a woman to me, he's like, no, I'm not asking to you, what is a woman? What's the definition of a woman? And he's like, well, I mean, like, I can only answer it to me. And he's like, no, you can answer it scientifically. You can answer it in, you know, reasonably. And he just refused to answer it. And it's like ridiculous. And he got mad that Matt was calling him a he. It's like, dude, you have a beard and you have a low voice. You are a man. Like, it's pathetic.
pretty wrong. You cannot come to me and then ask me a question and be like, hey, bro, can I ask you something? And I'll be like, yeah, ask me. And then you ask me, what is 1 + 1? And I say, 1 + 1 to me.
Exactly. It's like saying 1 + 1 = 3 to me, you know, or like 2 + 2 = 5. No, it's not how things work. You don't get to choose what is what in the world. There are general and absolute truths that the world is founded upon. And when we remove those truths and say everything is subjective, the world falls apart and we end up with what we have now in the world. Insanity, woke bullshit. All righty, guys. That's going to be it for today. I appreciate you guys coming down. Don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications, and don't forget to share this video if you guys like it. Like I said, please subscribe. It really helps this channel. Alrighty, and I'm going to get that merch store up too soon, so that should be up here soon. I'm just finishing up a few things on it, making sure I got all the designs I want, and then you guys can do that. I'll also get possibly like a PayPal or Patreon or something like that going too. Alrighty, guys, I appreciate you guys' support. I'll see you in the next one. All right, guys.